We are going to talk about Christmas safety, family and children. It is important for you to ensure that when you go out to shop or at home as well, that you take care of yourself and your family. That is very, very important around this Christmas time. With me this morning, Sergeant Michelle Lewis of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Good morning.
Morning,
and
sir.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
I know that you got a very late call to be here this morning.
Yes, but that's okay.
But it's a pleasure having you, and we are going to talk about something very important. Christmas safety, family and children.
Yes.
What are some of the tips that you would first of all give to parents at least?
All right, so school is out.
Yes.
Last Friday was the last day. And so children will be home during this time. It's 2 weeks or so of the Christmas vacation period. And so as police officers, we want to encourage members of the public, family, parents and guardians to be vigilant where your children are concerned. When you're shopping with your children, ensure that they themselves have your contact number. They know where they are, they have their addresses, particularly children under the age of 10, and they can call someone in case of an emergency. When you're leaving children at home, ensure that there is a responsible adult to supervise.
That word responsible is very important.
Adult. And don't take chances to leave your child or children with any and everybody. What we have seen coming out, a few months ago, the Child Protection Unit would have reported on an increase in sexual offenses against children. And in most cases, it would have been with persons who children are familiar with. And so be careful who you leave your children with. Ensure that it's someone that you really, really trust, and not take it for granted that you have known this person for a period of time, but not necessarily know the person that well, to leave your children in the care of that person. Talk to your children about personal safety and security. Let them know what is a good touch, what is a bad touch. Let them know the type of conversation that an adult or any other person may have with them who may be sexually grooming that child. So for example, somebody who all of a sudden is giving a child gifts, KFC, or treating that child extra special, or sending the rest of children outside to play while one in particular remains inside. Those are things and signs that children should look for and parents and guardians should look for. Really and truly, a community should have their eyes and their ears looking and being attentive towards children.
And importantly, when you talk about being vigilant, in some cases, parents might tell their children, if they go to a store, to stand up here and wait for me, and then they go get what they have to get, and then they would come back and pick up the child.
Right, so don't do that. Right, so if you are going into a store, you take your child with you. Your most prized possession that you have with you is your child, not the money in your pocket or the item that you're going for. So wherever you go, let your child go with you, and keep your child. But you see the little ones, the toddler ages, that tend to stray when they're in a store and they see the items there. Hold their hands. Yeah. I see in some other places they may have, a cord or whatever, but hold the child hand, because they would feel the tugging and, when the child moving away from you when you're actually holding the hand of the child.
And the place would be busy.
Busy because it's Christmas season. And really and truly, we want to advocate for parents to look out for your little ones. Those who are working in business places as well, keep your eyes open as well, because you don't want that someone come to your store to shop and it is reported that a child went missing at your place, or that something happened to your, to a child at your business place. So not just parents, but every adult to be alert. We have been seeing an increase in missing persons, particularly with children, apart from the increase in offenses. So it means to say that children are very vulnerable. And so there are persons who are out there who are, taking advantage of the naivety of our children. So it's really important that the adults look out for our children.
Yeah, and then you talk about giving the children their the parents' phone numbers.
Right, so of course.
You need to at least stick it in their pocket, or even put a name tag on
the
their
inside,
shirt.
But on the inside, because they don't want someone seeing the tag and calling the child and say, Jane.
Yeah.
And of course, the child looks around, sees and wants to know, and then the child goes away with the person. So if you know that the child that you have is very, very small, you have to pay extra attention to that child. Know the numbers for your police station, for example, 999, throughout 555, 990, the TTPS 800 TIPS, which is 800-8477 for Crime Stoppers. And so ensure, and of course, for it to Gary. So ensure that you have all the numbers where, for example, if a crime is to be committed, you would have that link to immediately get quick response.
And if you can at least teach your child the phone number for home or a close relative.
Of course.
Right, and now interestingly, there has been an increase in the amount of sexual offences against children, and you did talk about leaving them with responsible people, but how do you know, how can you really trust people?
Okay, very good question, right? So sometimes in a relationship, two adults, you may meet somebody for a period of a few months or something like that, and you may allow that person into your home as an adult. You may have to go out because of whatever reason, and you leave that adult with that child. And that adult is not someone that you know really well. You as a parent have to look for the signs. You really have to be alert, because even though someone is showing you a particular personality, that doesn't mean that the person is not a pedophile. It doesn't mean that the person is not a child predator. So you have really don't leave anybody with your children.
Try your best.
Don't leave anybody with your children. You know, if you have to hire help, still
proper background search.
Vet to ensure that the persons or the organization that you're leaving your children or a child with is a legitimate one. And of course, there are police officers, police station in the district. You can always enter into the police station, communicate with community police and say, well, listen, I'm interested in sending my child to this camp. Do you all have any information on this? Can you share anything with us on this? Because community police also do patrols, visit to schools, visit to camps and that kind of thing. So they give that support in relation to detection and reduction of crime.
And how important is it for parents to listen to their children?
Very important. Regardless of the age of the child, you listen to the child. Sometimes parents say, well, you know, that child always lying, that child always telling, you know, untruth. So, you know, it's like nothing. So when the child actually says that something happened, you really may not believe the child because the child is accustomed of telling the untruth. Those are the children who do not come out and say as easy because they believe that their parent wouldn't believe them anyway. And those are the children sometimes who may confide in a guidance officer or a school friend, and then the information will come forward.
Thank you very much, Ms. Michelle Lewis, Sergeant Michelle Lewis, for coming in this morning and chatting with us and giving us those very important tips, Christmas, safety, family, and children.